Hey guys, this is Cam315. I am back at it with another video for you guys, and I am back with another Clippers game recap. Now, before this game, I figured that one, we were gonna probably maybe lose this game. Heck, when it was getting like around 4/3 minutes left to go in the game, I literally thought we were gonna lose this game. And I was probably gonna come out here, rant, and probably frickin' say that this is why you don't need to frickin' rest your frickin' players when they're fine and dandy as can be and they can go. Well, I might rant a little bit on that topic, but not as much tonight because the Clippers won in, I would say, amazing fashion tonight, guys. Your Clippers won 100-98, thanks to the main man himself, Reggie Jackson, for hitting the game winner to go up and take the lead. And thank goodness that Pistons player did not give me Luka Doncic vibes from the playoffs last year and makes a three-point shot. And he misses it. He badly misses it. It hit like the rim essentially, and it just went down straight there. But good solid win for the Clippers B squad. Again, this might have been an easier freaking win if we had Marcus Morris and Kawhi Leonard not sitting out, but okay, color me wrong and get in my mentions or my comment section saying, well, the Clippers should freaking rest their players so injury doesn't happen. They shouldn't be playing against the lowly Detroit Pistons. I'll get into my reasons why I believe players nowadays are more softer than can be, and they can tough out a game even if they have, I don't know, some soreness. But the Clippers won. First things first, let me talk about last night's game with the Indiana Pacers. So the Indiana Pacers game was a really good game, mostly from, again, main man himself. What most people like to call him, Pandemic P. You know. Paul George dropped, like, I think it was his fourth straight game with 30-plus points. Good. He's turning the corner. And I like the fact on the press conference, he said that I'm not going to use the bone edema toe issue as an excuse. Good, because you shouldn't be using it as an excuse. If I'm seeing you play like trash, I'm gonna call you out on it. So it's good that it's looking like he's just playing through the injury, which I expect every other frickin' phantom injury Clipper to do. And just ball as best as he can do it, you know? And like I said, and listen, when I get to the whole sitting thing, Paul George has an excuse. It's a toe issue. Bone edema, that can end your season. That can end your season. But he played particularly well in that game. Batum, again, was a clutch guy in that game too. That man was clutch. Batum was clutch in this game too. Also, I don't know what's going on, but Batum, the Batum battalion, man, it's starting to become the Batum block party. My God, that guy is blocking shots out of the ass. And I like it. But we had a successful win against the Indiana Pacers. It was getting annoying from a little standpoint because Caris LeVert was getting all these ticky-tack fouls like he was James Harden himself. But hey, we managed to pull through. Zoo had a few posters on Sabonis, for crying out loud. My God. And I was also stressing out about the Pat minutes, which I'll get into in this game. Anyways, so that's kind of my take on that Indiana Pacers game. I know I didn't speak much about it, but I thought it was a good, solid team win. And we had a back-to-back. Most fans would call this a scheduling loss. Most fans would say this is just an unfortunate event. And in the particularly thing, when I saw my heading, the fact that Kawhi Leonard and Paul George wouldn't be playing, I'm like, okay, Paul George, I understand. Kawhi, no. Why are you not playing? Because one, you didn't play the last game against the Pistons. And two, you didn't play the first game of the back-to-back. So I'm thinking you're probably going to play the second game of the back-to-back. But guess what? He doesn't. And he was diagnosed with sore foot. A sore foot or something like that. Ty Lue said they're only sitting him for a precautionary reason. Now, I think the only reason they did that because they saw what happened to Jamal Murray. Anyways, before the game even started, I made a merrily tweet essentially saying, listen, why is Kawhi not playing? You're telling me he can't tough it out through a sore foot? He can't tough it out through a sore foot. He can't play on a sore foot. Why not? It's not gonna kill him. He's not gonna get hurt. He's been probably one of the healthiest athletes this past, few years. Yes, he's had his knee issues and stuff like that, but let's be honest, he's been fairly healthy, especially this year. He looks healthy as can be because this man was playing back-to-backs. And I had a few people up in my freaking mentions of my Twitter post to that saying, oh, he's got knees, he's got bad knees and stuff like that. He's got knee tendonitis and stuff like that. You should rest your players against teams like the Detroit Pistons, yada, yada, yada. These freaking dudes that freaking want to come at me saying, you should only stick to watching anime. That's wonderful. That's a nice comeback. Thank you for going to my Twitter page and finding out that I watch anime. Thank you for wanting to come on my Twitter or on my YouTube and see that I clearly watch anime and review it on the channel. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna stick to anime when I'm trying to watch my freaking favorite team. If that's the case, I would have made an anime about the Clippers winning their first title. Listen, my whole stance on the whole sitting bullshit for the phantom injuries, I don't care. Jamal Murray, yes, was that a horrible, and I mean horrible, tragic, unfortunate injury that came at the time? And it was unfortunate. There was like 50 seconds left to go in that game against the Warriors. But my thing is this. You can't be afraid of injuries happening. Injuries happen, and sometimes they can happen at the most unfortunate times. I'm an Angel fan, and all the damn Angel players damn near are getting hurt at the most inopportune time. And clearly, it's hurting my team now because we can't win a game against the Kansas City Royals because half our lineup is freaking out with injury. One of my freaking players on the Angel, he tore his ACL like Jamal Murray, sliding into second base. Injuries happen in professional sports. In every sport, injury happens. And yes, sometimes it can be freaking unfortunate and terrible. And yes, you can throw in the word see, that's why you should have sat him. But the chances of getting a foot injury off a sore foot are relatively low. And it's funny because one of the same repliers in my Twitter said, a sore foot can cause more injuries. And I'm like, how does a sore foot translate to a knee injury? That doesn't add up. You do know that the knees are different parts of your foot. Yeah, that was actually one of the replies I freaking got. I was actually dumbfounded that hold on, guys. Okay, back from what I was saying. But clearly those are two different areas of the body. You're not gonna get foot injury. Your foot isn't going to affect your knee unless you somehow mess up, I guess, the spinal type of thing, with the nerve type of thing from your knee to your leg, your foot. Wonderful. But one thing to end off this conversation before I talk about the game is the reason why I'm not a fan of the whole resting thing is this. Because the whole resting situation with me and my problem with the NBA players resting is because I feel like the NBA players nowadays compared to the old days are softer. They'll sit out a game for the slightest of injuries. Again, soreness. You're telling me you cannot play through some soreness. Oh, but it can lead to another injury. Yeah, but what are the chances that soreness can lead to an injury? Probably a very low percentage. Okay, fine, be cautious with it. But before I get into the game, and this is the thing I was saying, if you're going to do that, where you sit your stars and you definitely are going to be like, okay, your stars or players not playing, you better win games against these bad teams. Because I don't know if these Clipper fans know who are going to be mad at me for their different opinions. Listen, you can be mad at me. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But my thing is this, the Western Conference is tight. And two, if you're looking at it, at this game, if we had lost this game, we go on Friday into Philadelphia, and we might lose that game too. there's a chance we might lose that game because mostly Embiid's going to be in the game compared to, the last time we played them. And two, the 76ers have one of the best home records in the league this year. So my thing is, if you had lost this game, by the time you go back to Staples to play the Minnesota, which will be the first time with fans in the arena, which I'll also get into at the end of the video, you would have potentially been going back to Staples 39-20, which I believe, again, would have evened you up with the same loss record as the Denver Nuggets. And my thing is this, when Denver lost a game, I said, listen, now I can give the Clippers a game where they can say, okay, we're going to lose a game. If we can't win this game, I'll take a loss. You can't do it against a bad team like the Detroit Pistons. And luckily tonight they won. A loss? If we lose on Friday to the 76ers, you know what I'll say? Fine. We took a loss to the Sixers. We can afford that loss because we got one loss. We have one less loss than the Denver Nuggets. Fine. Good. I'll take it. But going into this game, I'm like, okay, the Clippers, this is a must-win game for the Clippers. This is a must-win game for the Clippers. Undermanned, the undermanned Clippers have to step up. The players that have to step up need to step up because we cannot afford to take a loss going to the Philadelphia game and then we take another loss. Because then you're back in the standings. If Denver doesn't lose a game between now and the 76ers, and after the 76er game, you're essentially tied back up in the loss column with Denver, where you'll get to that 4th seed where the Clippers probably don't want to be right now. They probably want to strictly hold on to that 3rd seed, maybe chase to get the 2nd seed, either or. So that means you got to win games, and you hope Denver loses more games than wins them now, especially with Murray out for the rest of the season. But again, like I said, this was a big game for the Clippers. They had to come in this game winning because when you're undermanned and you were going to sit your star players out, you're going to have to win these games against the bad teams. You have to. And that's why I say to people, just play the guys who aren't really hurt, that just have phantom injuries, that are just resting against these bad teams. And guess what? You'll finish these teams off. If Kawhi and Marcus Morris were playing, I don't think we would have been in the dogfight. I don't think we would have shot horribly from 3. I definitely don't think we would have been turning the ball over as much. And definitely, it wouldn't be hard for the Clippers to get shots up. Because guess what? The Detroit Pistons are going to focus more of their attention on Marcus Morris and Kawhi Leonard, which frees up the other guys. Let's run through the stats for today's game. Or actually, let me talk about the overview before I get to the stats. The first half, they looked fine. They looked particularly good. And I was shocked that they were up at the time they were up. And then the second half came, and then that's when you kind of saw in the third quarter, they just weren't hitting shots. They weren't hitting shots. Detroit tightened up on defense, and, every time the Clippers forced something up, it just wasn't going in. They were atrocious from 3 tonight. I don't know the statistics-wise. Let me look at the stats. We were only 7 of 29 from 3. We evened out. Detroit was 7, they went 7 of 24. But still, regardless, it's 7 of 29. That was definitely not our best shooting from 3. But still, regardless, one thing about this team is, is that they fight through anything. And again, so many people throwing this out that if the Doc was coaching this team, we would have been lost this game. And I said in a tweet, replying to a guy who I follow on Twitter and a guy who also watch Dime Dropper. Go check out his videos. His videos are good when he talks about the videos. He's very intellectual in the game of basketball. But he made a tweet saying that, if Glenn was coaching this team, we would have lost the game. And you could say, even earlier in the season, there's been many games where the Clippers have come back, and you just looking if Doc Rivers was coaching this team, we probably lose those games. And we probably have a worse record. We're probably in the same area with the Lakers, right? Maybe we have the 6th seed. Again, showing you the differences between Doc Rivers and Ty Lue, and shows that definitely we need a new voice in the locker room. But, the Clippers, they were struggling to get shots, but they still hung in the game. And that's the one thing, you can't do as an opposing team, and that's what you can't do that's what Detroit can't do because they're a young team. Detroit has to learn that they have to put away these teams. Because if you let these teams hang around in the game, they're going to find some way to come back. And tonight, it bit Detroit in the ass. They let the Clippers in the game instead of finishing them off when they needed to finish them off. And look what happened within the last 4-minute stretch of the fourth quarter. It made the Clippers go on a miraculous come from behind victory led by Reggie Jackson. You know, it started really with the steal, double team steal on Jeremy Grant. Now, I don't know what Jeremy Grant was doing at all. He clearly had enough time to see that Nicholas Batum was coming at him with the double. And for some dumb reason, I know you can say it's because they're tanking, whatever. For some dumb reason, he doesn't pass out of the double team, and it leads to Terrence Mann getting the steal and going on the other side of the buck, going on the other side, and you know, making sure it gets out there. I think he misses the shot. It ends up getting, I don't know. I don't remember the whole sequence of things, but I think that was the thing where he passed it to Reggie Jackson to tie the game, and Reggie Jackson ties the game. Then, you know, another breakdown is the Detroit Pistons going to inbound the ball. One tap by Amir Coffey essentially made Detroit bobble the ball for that entire thing. We managed to pick up the ball, get a chance, to call timeout. Obviously, you know what happens next. Reggie Jackson hits the game winner. And then, thank goodness, you know, number 7, I don't know who that was, didn't hit a shot like Luka Doncic did deep, like in the bubble last year, and essentially killed it, because that would have been awful if that would have went in. It just grazes the rim and just hits down, and then game over. So, yeah, that was a very good win by the Clippers. So I'm not really going to get into the Detroit Pistons stat line, but I'm really going to talk about the Clippers stat line. Funny enough, we're starting off with Patrick Patterson. I'm not joking, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not joking, ladies and gentlemen. Patrick Patterson needs to sit the F down. Ty Lue, stop playing him. I'd rather see Boogie Cousins, who his 10-day contract is about to come up soon. It'll be an interesting question to see if the Clippers will maybe give him a second 10-day contract or potentially sign him to an extension for the rest of the year. Hopefully, that either or the latter happen. And hopefully they don't say, look, you gave us something, but we're just not feeling it. Hopefully they bring him back, because I think DeMarcus Cousins in this game gave us some pretty quality minutes when he needed to give us some minutes. But Patrick Patterson, in 17 minutes, put up a flat-up donut. I said in a tweet, if Patrick Patterson gets 10-plus minutes, I will turn my TV off automatically. And I'll have whoever I follow on Twitter, to tell me when Patrick Patterson is out of the game. Can Serge Ibaka hurry up with this back tightness and come back so I don't have to see Pat minutes? Good God, he is awful. He was awful on offense today, and my God, his defense is atrocious. This man looks like he can only slide one direction. Like, good God. And some of these players get by him so fast, I'm like, he's a liability on defense. Get him out of the game. I know Boogie's not good at defense himself either, but at least he's a big body. What does Patrick Patterson have going for him? Nothing, other than hitting occasional spot-up threes, which he didn't tonight. Zubac, who is a monster, again. And if we're talking about players who deserve to sit out, if they're healthy, that man deserves to sit out. That man works his butt off, tail up. He's not even hurt. He's probably one of the most durable Clippers, next to Reggie Jackson, that continuously plays. And this man plays hard. Like, I love him. He had 18 points tonight, 6 of 10. There was a part in the first quarter we were literally feeding the offense through Zoo. Had 13 rebounds, so he got that double-double. Had 2 assists. I like what I saw. Reggie Jackson, who's the MVP of the game, had 29 points in 37 minutes. 3 of 6 from the field. 1 assist, 6 rebounds. And another thing you like to see from Zubac is he got 32 minutes in this game. Good. We're getting late Zubac minutes, which I love to see, and definitely will help us in playoff. But Reggie Jackson, what more of a savior can we ask for? I remember that I was not too happy that we re-signed Reggie Jackson. And I was like, well, if we're going to re-sign Reggie Jackson, he cannot play. Absolutely not. But he's come in, he's been productive, and he's balled out. And honestly, as crazy enough it seems, if he wants to come back, He's earned it. If I'm gonna get this Reggie Jackson in the playoffs, and I'm gonna get this Reggie Jackson, I guess for another year to come if we re-sign him, I'll take it. It's better than nothing, you know. But Patrick Beverley always out. You figure they're gonna ship him out of Los Angeles too, which will effectively end the 2017 to 2019 Clippers dynasty of basketball. You got Harrell out of there, you got Doc out of there, you got Lou out of there. Now you got Zoo out of there. The only guys from that team that would be there would probably be Zoo and Terrence Mann. It's kind of it. And it's time to move on from Patrick Beverley, who's going to stay hurt. Terrence Mann, who particularly didn't have the best game, but he was very impactful late in that game. Had 9 points, 4 12 from the field. He had one of his 3-point shots, had 4 rebounds and 1 assist. But like I said, Terrence Mann, even if he's not scoring points efficiently, he's doing the little things. Like the steal he had. Amazing stuff. That one dunk he had to cut it to a 3-point lead, which should have been an and one. Thank you, Tony Brothers. But Terrence Mann, again, does the little things. He got himself into early foul trouble, but after that, he was a solid player for us. Again, really fine for us. Kennard, he played 39 minutes tonight. He led the Clippers in minutes tonight. He wasn't the best, but he was still productive. 17 points, had 10 rebounds, so he had a double-double. 10 rebounds. That's really good for him. 5-7 from the field, only hit one of his 3-point shots out of 6. But I still thought Kennard was still, I would say, effective. He definitely, wasn't knocked down Kennard like we have seen the last few games, but hey, he stuck with it, and he still ended up with a double-double. I'll take it. Nicholas Batum, again, another guy who does the little thing. You can look at his box score. Not impressive, but he did the little things. Had some blocks in there, and had some pretty timely shots. Like, for example, the 4-point play he had when he shot the 3, made it, and got fouled. That was huge, because that was a point in the game where it literally looked like, if not for that 3, the Pistons might run away with the game. And it came at a clutch moment in the game. And again, like I said, Nicholas Batum, he might not impact the stat sheet like he has the last couple of games, and if not some parts of this year, but he's a solid player. And again, it's another player I wouldn't mind the Clippers bringing him back next year for another 1-year contract if he's willing to sign it. DeMarcus Cousins had 15 minutes. Thank the Lord DeMarcus Cousins played, because that's what every Clipper fan on my Twitter feed have been saying. Why isn't DeMarcus Cousins playing? I have no clue. Apparently, Ty Lue trusts freaking Pat more than Cousins. In 15 minutes, he had 8 points, hit 3 of his shots, missed 2 2-point attempts, had 3 rebounds, and no assists. But still, he gave us a big body against Stewart. Now, it was looking like it was going to get testy there, but hey, I'll take it. Rondo, again, didn't do much. Had 6 points, 4 assists, and 1 rebound. He was still a key player, but honestly, he didn't really do much this game, but you can see that his presence was there. And then Amir Coffey had 6 points, 2 of 5 from the field, 7 rebounds, 1 assist. Again, another great performance from Amir Coffey. Like from what the little stuff he gave us. Again, if not for that tip he got on the inbounds pass, who knows what happens. The Detroit Pistons maybe hold on to the shot later, and maybe they miss it and we go to overtime. And it could be a different story. But because Amir Coffey got just a nice little tap on it, it disrupted the pass to make the Clippers get the hands on the ball. And it ended up securing them the W. But it was very much a good win for the Clippers. Definitely much needed win, and definitely a great team win. Come from behind. Great Reggie Jackson performance. And again, like I said, you beat the bad team in the Detroit Pistons. Even if it was just barely, you still beat the Detroit Pistons. Because if we had lost, I'd probably come out here on YouTube and say something else. I would have been ranting at the top of my lungs. But we won. I guess the only other cleanup thing I want to talk about is Clipper fans, if you want to go now, you can go on whatever ticket buying app, probably just Vivid Seats, and you can go buy your ticket prices. to go to attend a Clippers regular season home game. Now, I've seen some Clipper fans I follow on Twitter already say like, oh, they've already said they're going to the Clipper game. Man, they must really have a lot of money, because I'm not. Now, I said it like the last game recap, I can't wait to go back up in Staples. But now that the going price is going out on Vivid Seats, or what you can buy, the ticket prices right now. And what I mean by that is the lowest ticket prices to go to a Clipper game, believe it or not, is $142. That's the lowest. I would do an Angel game for 21. And yes, that's a baseball game compared to a basketball game. Who knows? And two, Staples Center guidelines are you either need to have a vaccination with your vaccination card, or you have to test positive, I think, within like a 72-hour window. So, you know, obviously you got to get that to enter Staples Center, which, all right, it's, to me, it's like, well, if you're social distancing fine, then I think you should be fine. But I understand the concern. I'll understand the concern. I've been an advocate of being social distance, wearing your mask, yada, yada, yada. So, fine. I personally, for me, I don't want to get the vaccine because I'm not trying to say I don't trust it. I just don't want that thing in me, and then maybe down the road, it ends up having some sort of side effect. You know, and I feel like if I was doing good without social distancing, why should I get the vaccine unless I'm forced to for some unnecessary reason? So I'd rather just test negative and just give them my results and be like, I tested negative. So yeah. But yeah, the lowest price is $142. And if you're buying like a 2-pack ticket, good God, that's damn near over $200. Now listen, I bought that console for $500. Listen, I love my Clippers. I really do. But I'm not going to be blowing $100+ to go to a Clipper game, especially in the regular season. Maybe the playoffs. For the regular season, hell no. I'm not going to do that. Again, like I said, I spent $500 on this thing back there. Yeah, you would say, well, $500 isn't compared to $200. That's still a lot of money. And plus tax, that could add up to $300+. I'm not doing that. I got better time to save my moolah to go maybe catch a Clippers game next year, or maybe in the playoffs when it actually matters most. I don't want to go to a meaningful regular season game unless it's against a big opponent, which is, again, going to be highly expensive. And then two, you got to do all the other guidelines to do. Either get your vaccination shot or test negative. And it would suck too if you do the test negative thing, you do the testing, the COVID testing, and you end up being positive. And you don't end up going to the game straight up. And that would suck because guess what? You bought the tickets, boom. But I envision you probably get your test first before you buy the tickets. I think that'll be the smart thing to do, so you don't feel like you're wasting money for nothing. There is a dumbass that did that, but I don't know what the fuck you're doing. But okay. So Clipper fans are allowed at Staples again. The people that are going to go, to the 3,000 people that are going to go to Staples, have fun. Maybe you'll see me in a Clippers playoff game. I'll think about it. If it's a good Clippers playoff game, I'll entice it. But if it's like the regular season, nah, I'm not gonna blow $142 each, which will add up to essentially $200 a ticket. That's highly expensive for a regular season game. If they were starting out, if the ticket prices at Staples were going at starting at 50, maybe 60, I would have probably bought a ticket by now. And I would have probably asked to try to go find the nearest testing station first, actually. But to the Clipper fans who are going to go to the game, you know, listen, I'm not going to say nothing about your money. It's your money. You spend it how you want to spend it. If that's some of your money comes from the stimulus, hey, you used it for a good reason. And I'm not going to judge you for it. It's your money, and I have no thing. For me, I'm not going to pay a ticket for a regular season game. That's damn near $300. I think the ticket prices should definitely be lower, but hey, they got to find some way to make all that money, that revenue money back up for the Staples and for the team, essentially, because you're paying somewhat of their salaries now. But have fun at the game if you go to the game, and also be safe too. Please wear your mask. Please social distance in the game. Please be respectful of other people. And please listen to the guidelines that Staples Center has in place to keep you and your family and the other people and their families safe. So yeah, other than that, that's kind of it. So I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, guys, I'll see you guys later. So you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on the win. Are you going to Staples Center? Are you going to see the Clippers play in the regular season? Are you going to plan on going to a playoff game? I'll probably end up going to a playoff game despite how much money that playoff game cost. Unless it's outrageously huge. If it's like damn near $200, yeah, I'm staying home. I'm not going to blow $200 on a ticket. If it's another $100 ticket, I'll probably end up going to a playoff game. And that'll be fine with me. I just can't wait till ticket prices get cheaper next year so I can go to a Clipper game. But other than that, that's kind of it. So yeah, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Clipper game recap. Until then, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next video. See you guys later and stay safe up there. Peace.